What is your relationship like now with Justin?
I support him. I think I always will. I'm upset when he's upset. I don't want anything ever to happen to him bad.
Justin Bieber just released a full album the night before Selena Gomez put hers out. And people aren't buying that it was a coincidence. This isn't some made-up story. Fans truly think it was intentional. It's 2025, and the internet just exploded with drama that feels like it's been building for years. Out of nowhere, a previously unheard Bieber album appeared. No announcement. No ads, just emotion and heartbreak.
When you write music, what inspires you the most? What inspires me the most when I write music? Probably my ex-girlfriend.
The timing was too perfect, the lyrics felt incredibly personal, and the reactions online turned into a complete frenzy. The album, reportedly named Paris, showed up without notice on Spotify in certain countries. There was no official statement, no teaser, just dropped like a quiet secret. But the voice was clearly his. The words cut deep, and the song titles felt like emotional punches. One was called Unfinished Portrait, another, Her Shadow Lives Here, and the most talked about one, She Left, I Stayed.
Say that there's blessing in the breaking. There is no perfect way to.
Now, seriously, think about it. What are the chances that an entire Justin Bieber album mysteriously leaks just one day before Selena Gomez drops her most personal project yet? What are the odds that this leak happens exactly when fans are all over TikTok celebrating her healing journey, posting emotional clips, and quoting her most heartfelt lyrics? There's blessing in the breaking. There's no perfect way to heal. She once said dawned suddenly, right when she's embracing growth and vulnerability. This happens. Of course, the internet did what it always does. Theories began flying. In every direction. Was this truly a leak? Or was it something else? A message? A quiet dig? A moment of regret? Or maybe, just maybe, it was Justin's way of admitting, without actually saying it, that he still hasn't moved on. Within hours, TikTok turned into a wild timeline of edits, theories, and breakdowns. Fans analyzed every single detailed lyric, every sigh, every soft synth. It became less about the music and more about decoding a mystery. Soon, Justin leaked on Selena started trending on eBoom X, and people dove straight into old interviews, Instagram lives, even blurry paparazzi videos from years ago. But the real question wasn't just, did Justin do this on purpose? It was, why now? And just when the situation felt like it had reached its peak, Blanco's name got dragged into the chaos. Benny, Selena's current boyfriend, her longtime friend, and a powerhouse producer in the industry, suddenly became a focal point. He didn't make a statement. He didn't like a tweet. He didn't even blink publicly, and that silence, fans took it as something loud. Why wasn't he defending Selena? Was he blindsided? Or did he already know something? Things took another sharp turn when someone noticed a very familiar sound in one of Justin's leaked tracks. A vocal loop that sounded almost identical to something Benny had produced years ago. Now, was that just a coincidence? Or was that a deliberate move meant to hit where it hurts the most? By the evening, TikTok wasn't just reacting, it was on fire. Old clips of Justin crying on stage during tours were suddenly being paired with Selena's voiceovers and fan edits. New timelines were being built, theories stacked on top of theories, and users were drawing connections faster than anyone could keep up. And then, without saying a word, Hailey Bieber got swept right back into the narrative. She hadn't posted, commented, or even appeared online that day, yet somehow she was trending. Because in a love triangle, this messy silence isn't neutral, it's suspicious. And in this digital world, it doesn't matter whether she speaks or stays quiet, she's always pulled into it. Fans started saying what many had already thought for years: Hailey was never the inspiration. She was just the substitute. The one Justin settled for because he couldn't have the girl who still haunted him. Before long, Hailey wasn't just part of the story, she became the villain. Not because of something she did recently, but because of what people believed she represented. The thing that ended Jelena for. Within hours, the internet was flooded with edits, video essays, and finger-pointing. It didn't matter if it was fair or true. Hailey was now a symbol in a love story that wasn't hers to begin with. But here's the thing. This was never just about music or three famous people caught in a triangle. It was about all of us. Our fantasies. Our need for closure in a story. We were never actually part of. We made Justin and Selena into characters in a love story we didn't want. The sweet girl with the wounded heart. The troubled boy who couldn't let her go. It wasn't just love, it was tragedy, redemption, hope, and heartbreak all rolled in. When Selena broke down in public, fans felt it. When Justin had his messy moments, people saw it as proof he missed her. And when they got back together, in 2017, we were convinced it was their second chance. That this time, it would finally work out. But it didn't. By March 2018, they split for good, and just 4 months later, Justin proposed.
A little tincture potion that I got, I would say probably when I was around 12, my dad flew me to go meet with this witch who lived in the mountains, and she made this specifically for me. She told me that it would make a young Canadian pop star fall in love with.
That's when the internet really took over the storyline. Fans didn't just react, they rewrote history. The timeline of Justin, Selena, and Hailey became a full-blown conspiracy theory. Hailey was labeled the rebound. Justin's marriage was painted as a rushed mistake. Suddenly, every past interview, every emotional lyric, even the smallest change in Justin's expression was picked apart and reinterpreted to support the idea that he never got over Selena. That Jelena, the couple that once was, never truly ended. So when this mysterious leak appeared, filled with gut-punching lyrics and raw emotion, people weren't just hearing music. They felt like they were getting confirmation. For some, it wasn't just an album, it was proof. Proof that their obsession hadn't been for nothing. That their heartbreak as fans had been valid. That Justin's feelings were still real, still alive, still echoing the love story they refused to let go. But in the middle of all this chaos, where did that leave Hailey? The person who's been with Justin through his darkest moments, through hospital visits, canceled tours, and public breakdowns, suddenly became a side character again. Or worse, the enemy. Online, she was reduced to TikTok memes, tweets, and comparison threads. Not for what she did, but for who people decided she was. Not a wife, not a friend, but a barrier. An outsider in a love story she never asked to be. Part of Dot, and here's the truth nobody wants to face. The album might not even be real. It doesn't matter. This entire thing was never really about what's true. It's about how it feels. About the stories we've created in our own heads. The wounds we've carried that somehow feel connected to theirs. It's not Justin's heartbreak. People are crying over it's their own. It's not Selena's lyrics. They're clinging to it. Their personal pain that suddenly feels seen. Selena isn't writing songs to settle the past. She's moving forward, creating art from her own journey. Justin isn't secretly trying to win her back through leaked tracks. He's dealing with adult life, figuring out who he is, maybe preparing for fatherhood, maybe just finding peace. And Hailey, she's simply trying to live her life beyond the constant comparisons, beyond the endless echo of a love that had already ended when she came into the picture. But with the audience, we won't let it go. We've kept the story alive long past its final chapter, because deep down it still feels unfinished. And that feeling, that's not their burden. It's ours. The real question isn't, did Justin leak that album on purpose? It's, why are we still searching for meaning in his heartbreak? Why do we need Selena to be sad so we feel understood? Why do we keep acting like Hailey is just a placeholder so we can pretend the original love story is still? Why are we still watching reruns of a show that's been off the air? The truth is, we turned their real lives into a mirror for our own issues. We turned their pain into our entertainment. Their drama became our distraction. Because sometimes, it's easier to dissect someone else's love story than to face what's broken in our own. We clung to Jelena because it reminded us of a time when love was big, dramatic, passionate, and we believed that was the only kind that mattered. But the reality, real love is quiet. It's slow. It's behind closed doors. And because it's not chaotic or loud or messy, it doesn't go viral. Maybe the strongest thing we can do now is to move on. To stop waiting for some dramatic reunion or cryptic message. To stop hoping for closure from people who think. Because this was never our story to control. Maybe it's time to start writing something new. A story where healing is private, where growth doesn't need to be public, where we stop forcing strangers to carry the weight of our pain. So if you're still here, still scrolling, still replaying those old edits and overanalyzing every single word Justin or Selena sings, ask yourself, why? What are you really looking for? Because Jelena isn't coming back. And maybe that's exactly how it should be. If you're still watching, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on the notifications so you